Well, that was really short-lived. She's already getting hit with the nerf bat. Hello, my friends, and welcome back. In this video, we're going to talk about the nerf to the latest and greatest epic and Rise of Kingdoms. Oops, a typo. And then we're going to show perhaps a little bit of footage when we took the Crusader Fort earlier today. Maybe we'll put that at the end of the video if you want to see it. And also, we're going to max spin the wheel for Ramesses, because baby, we got to get those sculptures. If you like Rise of Kingdoms guides that help you get value and smash your enemies, consider subscribing for daily Rise of Kingdoms content. And we are a sponsored creator for Rise of Kingdoms. My friends, already we see a massive change to Keira. The skill description had a typo for the very most important skill. That was the fourth skill. And it's such a small typo, but so significant. What that fourth skill read before, and the reason this new epic was so good, is that the way it read, it indicated that there was a 10% chance you would debuff the enemy to take upwards of 80% extra skill damage, which is really powerful. So powerful that even, high tier, Ark of Osiris League teams were going to go need to get this commander for the debuff when you're hitting a structure. Think about it this way, okay? What is going to happen to the skill is so significant, the way that it actually works, because the way that it looked like it was going to work was that, you could be an Ark of Osiris League, you could have this land, and if you're swarming a altar or a holy site, right, you're swarming that thing down, every single march doing skill damage, including the rally, to that target would do 80% extra skill damage, right? So that's not just the effectiveness, one time over, but 5, 10 times over, however many marches are there. So now the way that this works is a really big distinction. When you're not in a scenario battle, which is Soroli Assault or Crisis, normal attacks have a 10% chance to increase skill damage dealt by 80%. So only for your one march. Okay, so that's why it was so good before, is that for every march hitting it, they were getting this benefit. It's like this benefit for, multiplied by the number of people hitting it. That's how much better this was. And so now in scenario battles, it looks like get the benefit as originally described. Normal attacks have a 10% chance to increase skill damage taken by 150%. So it's still really, really good in Soroli Crisis and Assault and all that sort of stuff. It just isn't the amazing #1 epic in the game necessarily anymore. And the thing that I struggle with here, and we happen to have Soroli Crisis available now. If we go to the shop, my understanding is that you can get these Keira sculptures here for 200 a pop, and that you have to use these sculptures only. You can't use universals to work on this commander. So it feels a little weird to me, the way that this commander works. And I'm going to put on my special voice, card up in the top, for the origin of this special voice to describe how I feel about a commander you have to get in order to get this currency. But in order to get this currency, you have to have this commander if you're like a free-to-play low spender. Right? It's like this. Well, I'll just use the voice, right?
Yes, we've created a system where you get this special currency, but the only way you can get enough of it is if you have this commander over here, which requires you to already have the special currency. It's genius.
So, I don't know. Maybe they'll add other stuff into this shop. In fact, I expect that they will, right? At some point, add other things into here that we'd be really excited about, but it is very weird that the chase reward is a thing that you need to get more currency that you would have used to get the chase reward. You see what I mean? Like, I don't know, it's very circular how that works. But I guess you've got to do a bunch of this to get a bunch of those, and then once you have a bunch of those, you can get enough currency that, like, by the time you've done that, like, do you even need any of this currency anymore? I guess you get resources and some teleports and some gold keys. They have pretty substantially reduced the number of those things that you can get from here. So I don't know. I feel a little, just a smidge weird about how that has kind of played out. But I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see. I'm also honestly like not even. I'm completely unconvinced that maybe even like the second half there's still a typo here. Like, is this actually supposed to do the original thing? Because it's still very good for Ian's Ballads and Cerulean Crisis. Okay, like this is still really good in that game mode, and I think the commander will be very, very powerful there. But I don't know. I guess we'll see soon if this is also a typo or if this is actually correct. Let's shift gears a little bit, and I'm going to spin the Wheel of Fortune for Ramesses, baby. I'm going to spin the Wheel of Fortune for Ramesses, and then we'll talk a little bit about the Crusader Fort, cut in the footage of when we took that Crusader Fort earlier today, and let's get this started. The free spin. Oh, I have such high hopes. That's actually not so bad. We'll do the 50% off spin, hoping for the good stuff and not getting it. Research speedups. I still feel like because they're letting us get research speedups and they haven't come up with a way to convert them, that there's probably some good value to be had here. At some point, there'll be something that we can do with those that's not like just feeling bad that you got them. That has to be, right? That has to be. All right, so we got a couple Ramesses sculptures in the first go run, which is pretty good. Pretty good. Some gold stars, training speed ups, research speed ups again. Oh man, those 2020 predictions. Woo, well, who cares? Who cares? We got the 8 spot. We didn't get the 8 spot at all last time, so that's a pretty sweet pickup. And what I will say is the gem value of this wheel is so good that even with wasted resources like we got there on the gems on the building speed ups that we don't need, the value of the wheel is still bananas. Like, it's still an amazing place to convert gems into in-game value. So like this is fine. And we get the 10 spot, which we haven't claimed, which is very nice. 5 more sculptures off the top. Boom, we'll keep spinning it. I think Ramesses is going to be super crucial. I think that having him expertise is going to be completely savage. People are going to be updating their Canyon teams. They're definitely going to be using this guy in Arc League. Yeah, he is absolutely going to show up there in a big, big way. There's another legendary commander sculpture. Awesome. I mean, like, I don't know. I'm still deciding what I think the next legendary commander, I think a free-to-play player should invest in. I think that the first commander should be Esong. I think that maybe after that, getting your Richard to like 5511 is pretty good. But the next legendary commander you might go for is even just Constantine at 5511. That dude is a beast. I started playing around with that, and like, man, I could not possibly be more happy with the value I feel like I'm getting. The 5511 Constantine is actually very solid. All right, this spin, fine. Totally fine. We'll keep it going. We're going to spin 60 times. We're going to have to spend some money and get more gems. I'm probably not going to be gemming the Crusader Fort this time around. I don't know. Maybe in a live stream, people will go ham with donations, and then we'll match donations with gem spend in the Crusader Fort or something like we did last time. Card up in the top. That was a lot of fun. Oh, baby! 8 spot! Woo! That's some sculpture gain right there. Holy moly, this spin was like amazingly good. It still is. Wow. That spin was on its way to being flawless until we landed on the building speed ups. There's 10 more sculptures total. Whew, 9 of Ramesses, 1 universal, and the universals are always better. I mean, I'd rather have 8 Ramesses than 1 universal, but you'd always rather have the universal than the dedicated sculpture. All right, we'll keep it spinning. Good so far. Good so far. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to gem the Crusader Fort. And there's a bunch of weird stuff with the way this KvK is designed that I find fairly astonishing. So, as an example, if you did a Light and Darkness KvK before, you can bring all your currency, all your coins from the previous one into this one, and then have a gazillion honor right out of the gates, which like, so if competing for the city skin is now kind of a joke, you needed to prepare from the last KvK to this one to do it. Like, I don't know why I'm gonna gem the Crusader Fort to get a bunch of AP. That just like, because the whole point of doing that was to go in and get the city skin. So whatever. I don't know. I don't even really need the city skin because I've got the 5% skill damage city skin, Saints Halo. And so like, do I need the 10% archer stats? I don't know. Most archers do skill damage. I'll just use the skill damage skin, you know? That seems like probably the play for me rather than spending a redonkulous amount of gems on a Crusader Fort and then not getting the end of KvK reward because people came into this KvK with a bunch of coins already? What? Weird. It's an interesting design. I think it's intended, but I think it's weird. Okay, that was pretty good. That was a decent spin. 2 sculpts. I'll take 2 sculpts. I think the overall trajectory of the game is very good, but I do find myself extraordinarily perplexed with the skull-less lucky coin showing up as the reward again. This spin, really good. Really, really good. I'll claim that. Let's see how far we got with our Ramesses here. And what do I want to do with his skills? I like the second skill. I mean, the reality is I'm just going to expertise him by the time I'm using him. But I really like the second skill. It's while he's on the map, but it's 40% of stats, so it's not defending a structure. But when he's in the open field, he can get 40% attack, which is really good. It is kind of tempting to look at this skill over here, which is going to do a bunch of different things. But, I mean, like, the skill damage reduction is good, but not all units even do skill damage. I don't know. I don't think I need to... And I don't think I need to take him up to 5-1-1-1. Like, the healing factor here is fine. The defense bonus is good. And I guess I could do 5-1-1-1 and start leveling him up. I don't know. I 10% chance to heal slightly wounded troops and increase defense. I mean, I kind of like the attack all the time. So I think I'm just going to drop the skill in over here. And boom, there it is. We'll take the 5% of stats. We're 8 sculptures away from the next skill up, which is awesome. This is a commander, again, I don't think I'm going to use as anything less than an expertise commander, because like this right over here is why you invest in this commander. Reducing the healing entirely for 2 seconds. Like, that is the jam. That's the reason this commander is going to be very powerful and basically required. Whew. All right, let's cut over to taking the Crusader Fort in just a moment. I guess before I do, one thing I'll show you if you're kind of newer to Kingdom versus Kingdom is that you're going to rally this thing called a Crusader Fort, and when you take it, you can then rebuild it. Rebuilding it will require donation of resources or gems in this first stage. As you go and do that, you're going to get Crusader supply chests. I'll show you what mine contain, but when you complete stage 1, you get a bunch of buffs. In stage 2, you got to go battle a bunch of barbs, and rally barbed forts I think also helps. And in stage 3, you donate sculptures that you don't need of commanders. Optimally, it's like green commanders, blue commanders, and you turn those in for some like really sick rewards. Like, it's honestly pretty impressive. So stage 3 is like really quite good. You used to actually be able to miss this and not be able to participate, and it would happen like so fast that if you weren't online for like the 3-hour window it happened, you'd get wrecked. But now you can still contribute for this stage, converting your commander heads into gold heads and other really good stuff. So the unused stuff you don't need, turning into good stuff over here. Let me rip open these supply chests that we've got over here before. Let's pull those open. Boom, we got 22 so far. So we're going to rip these open. And what do we get? We've got a ton of research speed-ups, 33 hours. We have individual alliance credits, which think of them like gems. You're going to use your individual credits to buy teleports, most likely. We've got some action point potions, which is very solid. These action point potions are the reason why you might gem the Crusader Fort, to get just a boatload of these, and then you go ham for getting honor. A 3-hour research speed up, few gems, some experience tomes, small amount of resources. So you get the idea. The bulk of the rewards here, I think they're generally going to be these action point potions of different sizes and the 1 hour research speed ups you're going to get a lot of. And even though we don't need those research speed ups, I thought when I was going for the city skin for KvK, like this was absolutely critical. But as I was describing before, my understanding is that you can come into this KvK with just like a ton of these Soluna coins saved up, and then like you pop them and get a bunch of honor, which like I don't know feels a little weird to me that you can get a bunch of honor and like shoot your way up to the top because you did a previous KvK perhaps. I don't know. I don't know. The other way you can do this, obviously, is just running around killing tons and tons of barbs, but, like, if I'm going to run around and kill a bunch of barbs, may as well do it when I'm rebuilding the Crusader Fort, right? Like, I don't know that I see the urgent need to have gone ham already. That feels a little weird to me. These Soluna coins, we're going to have to make a separate video about this. Let's cut to the Crusader Fort. All right, here we are at the Crusader Fortress. This is a pretty easy thing to take. We had a skeleton crew that was able to do this pretty handily. We put folks in each of the different lanes that's available for the Crusader Fort. There's folks that are going to spawn in those lanes. You got to burn them down pretty fast. That's very easy to do. Use a cavalry rally to take down the Crusader Fort. I would have just used Mina Tsao, but I think Khan is pretty cheeky and pretty powerful, so that's also a fine choice. And you keep the rally reinforced. You swarm down the stuff on the sides. You don't need special tanks or anything like that. Just bring really high damage. And the thing you got to be on the lookout for is that huge AoE that hits around the Crusader Fort. Because if you get hit by that AoE, I mean, you're kind of going to get wrecked. And you'll see as few people get wrecked by that in this video. And it's just like, it doesn't matter. This is easy enough. Part of the reason that this is easy for us, though, is that we've got a bunch of T5. So pretty much every march on the field here is probably a T5 march. I imagine that if this is your very first time taking the Crusader Fort, you're going to want to pay a good bit more care and attention to making sure you've got enough people online, to make sure that you're sort of swarming around this thing. And it looks like 96RZ is the first one to take their fort, which is awesome. There are allies in this KvK. You see me send some folks up to the north lane to just bring a little bit more support to that lane. It seemed like we had a few people, fewer people there. This was pretty early in the morning for me, although, I don't know, early in the morning for me is, like 9 a.m. So we're almost done with the Crusader Fort already, and as we head out in this video, I kind of want to pose a question for you. How do you feel about the changes to Keira? I think she's still going to be a really important investment because I think Ian's Ballads and also the Ceroli Crisis bosses are only going to get more and more significant. I think the currency there could change. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and if you did, consider subscribing for that daily content. Until next time, you have fun smashing the kingdom.